What's good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Lotus, also called the one who never knows best, and in today's video, I'm here to talk to you guys about some more Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls, a game that I'm very, very excited about. If y'all couldn't tell, I'm very hyped. I have a million and one things I want to do when it comes to this game, things I want to talk about, people I want to talk with, and one of those people is actually joining me here today for a very special video. None other than my brother from another mother. Shout out my dog, Inzem. Say what's up to him.
Hey, yo, what's cracking?
So Inzem, for those of you guys who don't know, is a world-class fighting game player and also a former professional Dragon Ball FighterZ player. Now, he's a master of many games, most notably right now 2XKO, but I also expect him to be a pretty advanced player in Marvel Tokon. But I figured it'd be really cool to bring him onto the channel because obviously my background is predominantly Dragon Ball FighterZ, and I think that applies to a lot of you guys as well. And I know that a lot of you guys have questions regarding this game relative to DBFZ, like, you know, what are the similarities, the differences, and everything like that. So I kind of want to talk to Inzem and just kind of give some of our thoughts and opinions about the game, you know, independently as its own like entity, but also like how it compares to DBFZ, since we both have, you know, a decent amount of knowledge and background in that game. So first thing first, I just want to ask you, how you doing today, man? How you feeling after this beta?
You know, I'm chilling. I haven't had that much fun on a game in a long time. I will not lie.
Me too, man. Me too.
I don't know. It originally it was kind of sleep for me. I will not lie. Like I didn't play the first beta. I didn't really play test it at any of the events, even though I were basically at most of them. It was you know, playable at.
Hey, as someone who did play that first beta, I also thought it was kind of sleep.
Yeah, I was just like I was like I'll try when it comes out, but you know. And then I played this beta that just happened. I'm just like, this actually might be crack. Like, I couldn't stop. Like genuine, like 12 plus hours a day. I was like, wow.
Same. Like I said, I might have put in like 40 hours over this weekend, which is crazy. Like I did a whole work week in 3 days, bro. Like it's nuts.
Yeah, no, it was getting bad. Like I was losing sleep intentionally. Like it was really bad.
Yeah. So suffice to say, we both had a pretty good time, and so I just kind of want to get some of your overall thoughts and opinions about the game, and then maybe a bit later we can talk about, and maybe just organically as it comes up, like how it compares to Dragon Ball. But just overall, like, how did you feel about the game? What were some of the things that you liked, some of the things you didn't like? You have any like strong opinions or feelings towards anything?
Since I liked the game quite a bit, I'll start with the positives. So first thing is, I think the game is just packaged overall really well, which is something I don't think people actually like are taking a bit for granted. That game is beautiful, man. Like the characters look really cool. The art style is like, I've always had an issue with like, not necessarily an issue, but it's something that I wish, like for example, Marvel vs. Capcom did a little bit better, and that like the superhero theme was a bit more flushed out. And granted, it's not only just superheroes, right? It's Capcom too, so with a grain of salt. But when I'm playing Tokon, I don't know, man. I was like, wow, like the animations are so fluid. It's really colorful, and these characters genuinely feel like they're ripped from the comic books. Like even when you like wall break somebody, and it shows like the comic panel, they have like a speech bubble say "I'm ready," like their voice lines with each other. Like I'm a huge Marvel fan.
I was gonna ask like how much of a Marvel fan you are, because
I am huge Marvel fan.
Okay, because me personally, it's not that I dislike Marvel, but like I haven't read a comic book in my life, and I haven't even seen that many Marvel movies. I've seen some Marvel cartoons here or there, and that's really about it. And I've seen all the Spider-Man movies, which I'm gonna go see that new one this week too. Matter of fact.
Yeah, same. I have to. Yeah, no, I'm just a huge fan of that stuff in general. Even DC, like I just like comic books in general. To be honest, like superheroes have always been. It's kind of what I grew up on. So like, you might not feel like the same level of just from that, but like imagine like kind of how you felt when it came to Dragon Ball.
I was gonna ask, does this game feel as much like a love letter to Marvel as DBFZ felt to like the Dragon Ball?
It definitely does. It does 100%. Like the thing I noticed, first thing was just like, damn, these characters feel like really like for example, I played Black Panther majority of my time. I'm just like, this feels like Black Panther. Like even the themes, like some of those things are actual bangers. Like I don't know if you heard Magneto's theme, is so fire.
I think overall presentation wise, I mean, and it's no surprise coming from Arxis, right? I think since Dragon Ball FighterZ, they've just been making the most beautiful games in the like in general, just like in terms of fighting games. I don't think anyone's really fucking with them. I think
I think they're the best.
I think this game's presentation is top notch. I mean, you talk about like the voice acting, the music, the art and animation for the characters, like the models. It's top notch.
Yes.
Like I don't think it gets much better than this.
I would say outside of that, the general gameplay of the game feels good and bad. Like at least for me, like the good was like what I just described. Like the package of the game, like simply is amazing. It's like one of the best packaging games I've ever seen. As for the feel of playing the game, it's like kind of a mixed opinion because I do have some of the gripes that you guys have also probably seen if you're keeping up at all, like any social medias and stuff. Which I also share the same things like movement feeling a little clunky. Sometimes like the visual clutter is quite a bit because 8 characters on the screen at a time, like being possible, is definitely just a lot to take in. And as
Especially with how
somebody
frequently you can
who,
call your assists.
yeah, as somebody who, not to toot my own horn, is pretty good at this genre, I would like to
You go
say.
ahead, talk your talk. You world class. You know what I'm saying?
Even then, sometimes I'm just like, what in the hell is happening on my screen right now?
It can be a lot to follow. It's hard to keep up.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can definitely, it's very easy to get lost in the sauce, which is something that I think is definitely adjustable with some changes. But I think at its core, the game is very good. And with the issues that I do have with the game, like I know another one was like the input reader for a lot of people.
Mhm.
These are things that aren't too difficult to change. It'd be like one thing if the issues were like a system wide, like, okay, at its core, I'm not sure how they would change this, but some of them is just a simple numbers tweak, a simple rule adjustment. Like, it's definitely stuff that's fixable, which is a really good thing. It's a very good thing.
I think the other thing that's important to note is the fact that as somebody, again, I only played the first beta. I didn't get to play any play tests. I didn't get to play it at any events after that. I didn't even play the second beta, right? But for that reason, I feel such a massive change from that first beta to the current version of the game. They certainly took in all the feedback and made it, at least in my, some people might disagree, but in my opinion, made all the right changes to make this game significantly more fun, more enjoyable, and just a better game overall. Like, obviously, when it comes to the presentation, they were always going to knock that out of the park out the gate,
Yeah.
but you thought the game looked so frankly boring that you didn't even try it to get to play it at first. And as somebody who did play it, I was like, damn, I was excited for this game, but after that first beta, I'm not so sure. And even, other creators and players like Maximilian and Sajam, they shared a lot of the same sentiments that I did, where they were like, I wanted to be really excited about this game, but it honestly just wasn't that fun. And I think the most important thing to note is that the game is just fun. Like, despite some of the flaws and imperfections that it has, like, at its core, the game is fun. And I think any of the issues that we do have are things that can be fixed. And they've already instilled faith into me and to a lot of other players that, hey, the game is probably only going to get better because they've already made some great changes. So if we have anything to look forward to, it's the fact that they listened to feedback before and made the game better, and they can do it again.
They're being very receptive. I don't know if you saw it on Twitter, but they've even made like multiple posts, mind you, of like, hey, we hear you guys' issue with the PC issues. We're fixing that. We also heard you guys with like some other issues outside of just, hey, my PC port isn't running well, that we're going to fix. They even had like, they tweet out a survey for people to take like, hey, give us feedback so we can improve it on launch. Granted, a lot of the stuff that we probably have an issue with probably won't be fixed on launch. It's just not enough time. It's like less than 2 weeks.
I would say, yeah, the game releases in like 8 days as of the recording of this video. So I don't expect there to be any major changes, especially in terms of gameplay, maybe in terms of performance. Those are things that they can work out, because I don't think the performance issues are going to carry over as badly as they did from the beta to the full release anyway. I think a lot of stuff that people were experiencing on PC was in place because of how heavily they were trying to protect the game from getting cracked or like data mined and everything like that.
That's true.
So I think some of that will be alleviated just naturally when the game launches, and further things obviously they're looking into. So,
and something that you said that I do want to go back and say is, in the topic of fun, I know the people on your channel definitely already knows about Dragon Ball, like the whole Dragon Ball arc, like all the fun characters. I think that game also had some of the coolest characters I played. But oh my god, are the characters just so fun in that game? Like, that was just like, these characters are like I think a lot of the issues I have and what a lot of people have is a system issue with like, oh, I don't like the way this thing is working, or this feels a little too, doesn't really make too much sense, not that cohesive. But I don't think I've seen anyone say like, damn, these characters are boring. It's actually quite the opposite. I've seen people like, oh, these characters are fire.
The characters, and they feel like they all have like their own identity. Like, there's a decent amount of like uniqueness to each of them as well. And we've only scratched the surface, despite like the obvious homogenization that comes from certain mechanics or systems within the game. Like, like, oh, every forward assist is your shooter assist, and then you have the vertical assist and the assault assist. The actual gameplay of the characters, they all feel like they have their own identity. Wolverine with his Rekkas, and Green Goblin with the glider, Spider-Man using web zip all over the place. Mechanics. Yeah, Magic with her portals. Like, there's like real actual differences to these characters and like their gameplay and their mechanics and how they interact. And it's super dope. And I think that's absolutely one of the biggest selling points and shining moments of the game is the characters themselves.
Everyone has such a unique mechanic. Like you said, Green Goblin, he's literally flying half the match on his glider. Like Storm is controlling the wind, like literally, like Magneto. Like I'm sorry for anyone who likes MVC. Magneto is fire in that game. Without MVC Magneto, I would not have base Vegeta. I will accept that. However, this game's Magneto makes so much more sense. Like he's magnetizing you towards
Actually
him.
using
I'm like,
metal and
yeah,
magnetism.
this is Magneto. Like, you know what I mean? I was like, damn, I can get behind this. I didn't feel this way for a game where I'm just like, it could also be a mixture of my investment in the actual characters from like a source material standpoint isn't as good as it was Dragon Ball. Like, for example, with 2XKO, I had a lot of fun when the game like first came out, but I'm not a League player, so my investment to like, oh, I'm playing Echo or Jinx isn't really that high. It was more from a fighting game standpoint of, oh, these mechanics are sick or this character is sick, not necessarily like, damn, I'm playing my favorite character.
No, I
So
feel
it could
you.
be a little biased that way.
No, I think that
maybe,
matters
but
a lot because that's absolutely a big reason why I loved Fighters so much is because I had a personal attachment to those characters. And that's why I always sing the praises of some of these games so much more when they're able to get me really into it despite me not really knowing the IP or the license beforehand. Because like Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rising, I'm not here to say it's the greatest game ever, but I really like that game. I didn't know nothing about Grand Blue beforehand, but I'm like, damn, a lot of these characters are really cool. Now, granted,
that's
I played
a big achievement for a game.
yeah, like I played Seok, so you know what I'm saying. Y'all can say what y'all want about that, but I thought the character was sick. You know what I'm saying? And then there have just been other games where like I've played or that I didn't play, and I'm just like, it's hard for me to get invested because there's not a character that I can attach myself to. Which with 2XKO, I really didn't play the game once it launched because I didn't have a character that I really liked, and I didn't like the game at its core enough to like deal with that until one got released. But as soon as they dropped the Kali, I was like, hold on, I found something that's very me. Pair her up with Ari. Now I'm in there. Now I'm damn near playing Dragon Ball again.
Yeah, that's definitely a DBFZ at home ass team.
Yeah, we got DBFZ at home.
You got a character to double jump, got a character to air dash. Have fun, man.
Literally, literally that. Because I think one of the things about Dragon Ball FighterZ is you can tell how eager I am to bring DBFZ into this conversation, right? Is that one of the things I've been chasing the most since I've stopped playing that game is DBFZ's movement. That game.
My God, that is still the best movement system I've ever experienced.
Bro, oh my God, that feels so good to hear you say, bro. Because I Dragon Ball FighterZ has my favorite movement of any game I've ever played. And niggas can say whatever they want about Marvel or Melee or whatever, but I have been chasing the feeling of moving around in DBFZ since I've stopped playing that game. Because no matter what has changed with that game, no matter what issues I have, no matter how I feel about it now,
his movement is still fire.
The movement is still fire, bro.
That's how you know if movement in a game is very expressive, if you can genuinely beat somebody from movement alone, which is very rare that a game actually can accomplish that. It's funny that you brought up Melee because I think that is the other game that's really up there in terms of like, hey, this movement is like one of the best movement systems I've seen.
Right.
But they share the same case as like, hey, you know, movement is everything, and I think it's fine to keep bringing up Dragon Ball because that is basically the most comparable game we actually have to Tokon, like either that or Strive. But
yeah, you know, I think this game
and stuff. But
I think this game feels like a combination of Dragon Ball FighterZ, Guilty Gear Strive, and like BB Tag. Like those are the big three to me, where I feel like a lot of elements from that game. I'm
inclined to agree. Yeah. It's funny because it feels like Strive, especially round one. That's kind of the vibe I was getting, where the assists aren't like too crazy, and it's actually, despite being a versus game, it's pretty footsie oriented, more so than you would think. That's something that I was experiencing like towards the end as I was getting a bit better, which I appreciate. I appreciate that.
I experienced a lot of that in the worst way while playing Wolverine and fighting Magic players and be like, oh, okay, yeah,
just swinging them big ass buttons,
bro. Like we gonna get back to that, but my fault. Go on.
And I think it transfers a little away from that. Well, not a little, a lot of away from that once more assists start becoming active, and it kind of gives me. Well, I didn't really watch too much BB Tag, so I can't really speak for sure about on that game because I mean it's obviously like one of the active Switch games, so it shares that in common. But the vibe I was getting once all the characters was unlocked, it kind of gave me like old school Marvel, like MVC3, MVC2, where you're genuinely just jumping around and just kind of mashing assists, just being careful not to actually get your guard touch because it's very easy to get clipped by something.
Right.
So it's a bit weird, and that's one of my gripes about the game. I do wish, you know, calling multiple assists at the same time had a bit more restrictions on it. And I think that would definitely help the visual clutter. But it is interesting how the game feels like it generally shifts quite a bit from game start to later on in the game. And I think as time goes on and, you know, players get better, we have more time in the game. certain strategies are actually going to evolve to where it's targeted to be very good at certain parts of the game. Like some strategy will be really good at game start and it maybe tries to take advantage of that in snowball. Maybe some strategies is kind of playing for the late game where it's like all 4 of your characters unlocked, then your team's like a giga super team at the expense of like when you start the game is maybe not that strong, but you can hold that. I was already seeing it a little bit towards the end of like the super top level players are starting to understand like team building wise, but I do think the aspects is going to be interesting.
Right, right. I think there are certain aspects about the game that I either disliked or was unsure of, but I don't have strong feelings about because there's so much left to learn and figure out and solve when it comes to this game, right? Like we've barely scratched the surface. Like we had 3 days with the game, and I mean, months were going by within certain patches of DBZ, and there were things that we didn't know. You know what I mean? Like I say that to say that like I'm not somebody who's advocating for certain changes because I'm like, well, we kind of got to let certain things be. There are a couple things that I think we can confidently say where it's like maybe this should be tweaked, but you know, people saying like, oh, the game has no mix. I'm like, are we sure about that yet, bro?
That
like
opinion changed so fast. It went from this game has no mix. Okay, so here's the thing, right? Because I feel a bit, I wouldn't say strong about this, but I have some words to speak on this, right?
So say your piece, brother.
So first thing is, I like most other people was like, damn, where's the mix when I first started playing the game? Because you just look at the game. This is probably the game where I've played where they actively went out of their way to restrict the most amount of mix-ups possible. Like character universally high lows aren't unreactable like it was Dragon Ball, even if you have a 2-0 low. I believe the crossover protection is 7 frames for the nerds who wanted to know that.
I actually did want to know that because I wanted to know what it was in comparison to DBFZ because it feels stronger in this game than it does in DBFZ.
Yes, it definitely is. It's allegedly 7 frames, by the way. Allegedly.
Okay, because and even in DBFZ, I remember that game getting criticized for its crossover protection. So for it being stronger in this game, I'm like, well, I see where y'all are coming from, but like, I don't think that means the game has no mix though.
It's like you can't combo off command throws, and some of them are reactable. There's a whole bunch of different restrictions put on mix-up. And at first I was like, damn, where's the mix? And then the more and more I played the game, I'm just like, oh, one thing that we're going to have to understand about any active switch game is the nature of an active switch game means that it's probably going to turn into the most oppressive, getting like mixed, like 3, 4, 5 mix-ups in a row. And it's just because of the way it is, because you call your assist, maybe that's a mix-up, then you act to switch, that's a second mix-up, then you call your assist again, that's a mix-up, act to switch, that's a second. Like, it always turns into that, like, even 2XKO, people who follow it turn into that. I mean, we all know what BB Tag turned into. That game was mixed, like, slop. And it's like, I can already see it. Like I started piecing it together for Tokon, and some other top players start looking at the game and be like, "Oh, this game's going to be like very mixy." And so I say this to say that I do think, despite people having a gripe with the amount of restrictions put on Mixup, I do think that is the correct decision. I want to say that I'm not the biggest fan of active switch games in general. I would rather just my versus game without active switch.
Which is ironic.
It's a little sloppy. However, I do think if I were to make an active switch game, I do think that's the correct decision because that's the best way they can stop the game from feeling too one-sided. That makes sense. And you just get mixed like out of your shoes, like
it could very easily turn into I beat you in neutral once, and then like if I even if I just make you block one thing, I'm now gonna put you into this giga long block string into like 3 50-50s because it's a 4v4 game. So it's like good luck guessing right 3 times, you know what I'm saying, before you're able to fight back, especially given the nature of the defensive mechanics in this game that seem a bit underwhelming in my opinion. I don't know how you feel about crossover.
I am inclined to agree. I think crossover is either very weak or very strong. There's no in between. There's literally no in between. Like if a game start, that's just the strongest. You can't stop it. Now past game start, don't ever use that shit. You're gonna get mauled, bro. Right. Don't use that, bro. So it's see, those are like some things that I think could be tweaked, but I think at its core, like even down to the 4-button Gatling that I see a lot of people having an issue with, where I still personally have an issue with myself, even with this knowledge. I understand it. I'm not saying I agree with like the 4-button Gatling at least, but I understand why, and I'm pretty sure the reason being is because of that. Like the thing about Arc Sys is I think they're pretty meticulous when it comes to why they make certain decisions. Like this might be get a little advanced for a second, but for example, I forget the name of it, but it's the reversal that universally is like the armored overhead. At least from my testing, generally all of them were like -5 on block, or most of them, which means it's safe.
Is that the crossover counter?
Yeah, no, so it's not the crossover counter. It's the one you do that's like you can do from neutral. That's an overhead, like the
Got
25
you.
frame overhead.
Okay,
Like
I
there's like
got
the
you.
parry one.
Yeah.
I forget its name. Then there's the overhead one, right?
But it
Yeah,
looks similar. It has like that same effect as the crossover counter,
yeah,
right?
like that orange
The
yellowish
the
glow.
orange thing behind. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it's usually a 25 frame overhead, so it's pretty close to Dragon Ball 6M, for example, but it's just armored.
Hmm.
Um, but the reason why I say an example of Arcs is being pretty intentional with their things is normally they're safe on block, but for example, Black Panther's isn't. Hers is -8. That's punishable. So at first I was like, that's weird. Like, is that an oversight? And the more I learned about the character, I'm like, oh, you can get a combo from this. And since she can always full screen corner carry you no matter what and wall break you, they decided to give her more punishment for hers because hers is higher reward. I think just the idea that they think about stuff like that extends even to the 4-button Gatling. So I don't think like the decisions of the game are without reason.
Hmm.
Not me saying I agree with all of them, but just to gives a little more insight on I think why Arxis is making some of the decisions they're making.
I really like that perspective and how you went about wording that and thinking about things that way, because there are multiple things in this game where I like, in my mind I'm like, okay, there has to be a reason, I just don't understand the reason, right? So like the 4-button Gatling thing is like I'm and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to players such as yourself and others who are just frankly just more skilled and more knowledgeable about fighting games than myself, right? Because my skill and knowledge only goes but so far, and I wanted to learn that more for myself, but also expose my audience to that as well. Because like another thing, for example, like you said, the 4-button Gatlings. What's another thing that comes to mind? Like not being able to call your assist, like directly after block stun. Like there's
Oh, like you have to wait till the move connect and then you get the window to do it.
yeah, like I don't understand that. I don't necessarily like it, but I don't hate it. It does feel bad, honestly. I do feel like that maybe that is something that should be changed, but I don't know. I don't understand the reasoning
I'm
behind why it's like
inclined
that.
to agree. I'm inclined to agree. I think personally, like, this is just my opinion, so I could definitely be wrong, but I think it lines up with the same reasoning they had the 4-button Gatling, where they try to limit things. It kind of feels like they tried it without it and
Hmm.
realized that their vision on what they wanted certain characters to be able to do and the counterplay that should be presented to some of these scenarios was too much. So they decided to homogenize it by putting that restriction on it. So when they're designing a character, it goes like, oh, when Spider-Man does his 214L, which is a flip kick, he cannot actually jail into a actual assist. He needs to actually use his block stun assist. But if he uses block stun assist, he can't get a actual mix up. But if he uses other assists, he can. However, there's always going to be a gap here. You can't stop that from happening, right? Like it
Right.
seems like they wanted to homogenize certain things to make it easier to try to balance it. And I say that to say I think it's all for the sake of them trying not to make the game feel too mix heavy and one sided.
Yeah, they don't want it to be too
Because
overly degenerate and scare
yeah,
off
which
all the newer and casual players.
it's funny because people are very good at fighting games nowadays. I'll say that. Like the people are just generally better. We find stuff faster. Things are solved much quicker and whatnot. So I think despite these restrictions, the game is going to evolve into that anyways.
Absolutely, especially you're talking about a 4v4 game. I mean, people are going to find stuff, but that's all the more reason why I was like, yo, can we not talk about the game having no sauce and no mix before it even releases? Because like you're going to find stuff. And if we play the game for a couple of months and we're like, yo, this is actually mad dry, there really is like too many restrictions, there's no sauce, they can change that. But we don't have to be advocating
Yes,
for these
yeah.
changes so early on. Like let's
It's not too
get
hard of a change either.
yeah, so let's allow things to breathe and let it rock, because there's so many things that we just don't know yet or don't understand. And as time passes, you'll come to realize either one, like, okay, you were right and certain things should change, or two, oh shit, I was wrong, because actually you can do XYZ, and then also this is this way because the way this mechanic works, the way this skill or special moves works with this character, that's why this is negative, or that's why this she gets a combo. You know what I'm saying? It's just like let
Yeah.
shit breathe for just a little bit before we start jumping the gun and asking for system wide changes and or nerfs or buffs to certain mechanics or characters. Like, damn, bro, relax.
Yeah, character adjustments. I'm like, unless something is very clearly egregiously too strong, then I think it's a bit fair to ask for adjustments early. But I
Right.
think that's literally the only case. Like if we, God forbid, if we get a lab code in this game, I'm asking for that shit for day one. Because Arxis is very known for creating chosen characters, for lack of a better term. Because they made a lab code in Happy Chaos, but like, we'll leave that in the past.
It's blessed.
Um, but I do think some of the gripes people have, okay, that's fair. Like I think people saying like, hey, I can't, like it feels weird to not be able to call my assists when I want it, even if I put them in a block stun.
Hmm.
I can say I think I understand why they did it. I'm not going to say I necessarily agree, but I do think some of the things as okay, like the input reader, we can fix that. Like that's not, you know,
Yeah,
it's not.
absolutely.
So I think it definitely depends, but I am inclined to agree with you because I was actually kind of the same train of thought of like, hey, this game has no mix. We should probably put more mix in. And then the more I learned, I'm like, oh, okay. I'm starting to understand the why behind some of these decisions. So I definitely agree. Like, if you were to ask me right now, for anyone who still thinks the game doesn't have mix, I think the game is pretty fucked up, mixed up wise. So
I think it'd be
it's
very
just you
difficult
have to
for
work
it to not
harder.
be, you know, like
Yeah, I don't know how you can make a active switch game and not have it be like people like, dude, you could just switch to your next character. Like, people are gonna find stuff.
so what characters did you actually like play the most or explore the most during the beta?
So I tried to do my best to find out what I thought would be the best characters. 'Cause I'm very competitive mind because you know it's kind of my job. So
Rightfully so, as you should.
yeah, I looked at the characters that I thought were going to be really strong. Which I mean, I can we can talk about that a little bit later. But the characters I actively played was Black Panther and Magneto. Those are the two I spent most of my time on.
Those are like two of the top 5 most popular characters I feel like throughout the weekend.
Yeah, I was not woke on Black Panther at all. Like, I didn't even watch her character like overview. I didn't really care. I don't even know what.
So you hate women, huh?
She looked pretty cool, And then I think I fought a Black Panther, which I'm not gonna lie, he had no idea what he was doing. However, I saw what the character could do, and I was like, oh, I have to try her. And then I was playing her, and I'm like, this character's way too fun. Now Magneto, I was on frame 1. That's the master of magnetism right there. Like, I have to play Magneto. He is actually one of my favorite characters, and like I said earlier, these characters feel very, very real. Like they feel I'm playing Black Panther Magneto. That's the vibe I got from them. It's funny that we kept bringing up Dragon Ball because I actually believe Black Panther is, or some of the characters, not even Black Panther, is actually loosely designed around some Dragon Ball characters.
Oh,
like
but
I see
do
Black
tell,
Panther
elaborate.
has. Like, for example, when I was playing Black Panther, I was like, a character, and I can actually go in depth about this. You might actually find this really interesting. The people who play Dragon Ball is you can tell Dragon Ball was a test drive in some of the decisions they made, especially in the later patches of that game that we know ArcSys made for Tokon. We're gonna, sidestep real quick. I'm still talking about Black Panther, but you remember when they made all level 1s 4-frame reversals in Dragon Ball? That one patch?
Yeah, that was real funny. That was real fun.
Is little suspicious that I believe every level 1 in Tokon is a frame 4 reversal.
So what's funny about that, by the way, because there are certain things that I don't like about Dragon Ball that I have accepted or enjoy or are perfectly okay with in other games, including in Tokon, right? So just as another quick aside tangent before you get back to your point with that, and then back to your other point, is that I was using Blade as my main my main neutral assist, like assault assist, right? Blade assault assist seemed super fucking.
That's just a C assist.
Exactly, and I'm notoriously fucking hated C assist, right? But like the difference is that you guys have to understand is that it's about change, right? Bullshit is easier to accept when it's like that from the beginning. Like, oh, this is the way the game is.
That's true.
This is the way the game is. This is how characters are. This is how these mechanics are. Dragon Ball kept introducing things that were different from how the game used to be, and it's like, but wait, I like this thing better before. But wait, I like this thing better before. But wait, I like this before. When you play a new game and certain things are just like that out the gate, it's like easier to accept and then maybe even enjoy. So like, yeah, Blade's assault assist is dead as like a C assist. I get that. That's not lost on me. I'm playing that shit.
Oh, yeah, I know. I looked at it and I'm like, this C assist is kind of broken, no?
Yeah, exactly.
And I caught myself calling it a C assist, and I looked at it, I'm like, oh shit.
Exactly.
It is a C assist.
Exactly.
But yeah, like all level 1s are 4-frame reversals, and even like Black Panther, for example, she has like her spear projectile, right? She has a straight one that she can fire horizontally, and she has an anti-air one, right?
Right.
Her EX one fires straight and it goes through projectiles, and she's allowed to whiff cancel any of these fireballs into a full screen neutral skipping dash.
That sounds like Blue Vegeta.
I don't know. Blue Vegeta?
A little bit.
That also is, but in my head, I'm like, this is just Kefla.
Actually, you're right. With just Cannonball and fucking, yeah.
Yes, and EX going through, I'm just like, this is clearly Kefla. Like, very clearly Kefla.
I was thinking of the way that, like, Blue Vegeta can whiff cancel now and then also just throwing his Ki Blast and then just doing fucking, Niagara Pummel. Like that's what immediately came to mind. And also his fucking command grab, which is also, yo, that character is fucked up, bro.
He's strong, bro.
And anyway,
anyways, I don't know how much you've seen of Iron Man, but I looked at the character. I'm like, this is literally like 1-to-1 SSJ Vegeta. I was like, this is the funniest shit ever. Like he's clearly SSJ Vegeta. Like they didn't even try to hide it. Like, he's SSJ. Like he has like the safest like fireball game. He has the down angle fireball. He has one of the best DPs that's in the air. He has a lariat. He's very pressure based. I'm like, this is like clearly SSJ Vegeta, but if he had a beam and if he was a millionaire or billionaire, I guess.
Billionaire playboy
like,
philanthropist.
Yeah. So I was just like, I actually had a theory, by the way, when Dragon Ball, before we even knew about Tokon, when Dragon Ball, I knew Arxis was making some of the changes in Dragon Ball. I'm like, it seems like some of these changes are them testing stuff, and I think I was right. Actually, it's clear to me that they established some rules from Tokon from Dragon Ball or the later half of Dragon Ball. Like even some characters mix-up theory is the same, by the way. Spider-Man has Bardock's original uppercut mix-up, like 236M. It's the same thing. So
where you just do that and then you just pick high-low?
Yes, same thing. So that was really interesting to me.
You know what?
It's something that
I'm glad you brought that up, because on the actually, I don't know if it was on the final day of streaming, like the day after, whatever. Everything's like a blur in my head right now. Someone came to my chat and said that you called Spider-Man the Bardock of Tokon, and they asked me, what do I think that you meant by that? And it took me, because I didn't play Spider-Man and I didn't fight that many I fought a few of them like on the final day, but obviously I wasn't playing the game at the level that you were, right? Like I got to Vibranium and all, but like I wasn't playing like, shiny Espeon or no one like that, right? So I sat there and I thought about it for a minute. And I was like, huh. And the only conclusion I could draw was that like you probably feel as though he's very strong, like at the round start, maybe something to do with the web zip and how he basically has like lariat and something along those lines, right?
Yeah, I think he's arguably the strongest character of the game at the start of the game because you can't do anything to stop his mix-up. I think he has a lot of fuck neutral skips. Like he definitely just web swings at you.
He seems like one of those characters that like before both sides have all their assists, it's just like he's able to do a lot that maybe certain characters can't, and it's like
privileged. He's very, very privileged.
And like, what are you gonna do about it without your assist to combat that? Whereas he doesn't need his assist to do some of this bullshit.
And yeah, he just felt, at least to me, like I think when I said that, I definitely was putting a little bit too much stocks into just him having the same type of mix-up. I just found that really funny when I realized that what was going on. But I also think it's just because I don't know how much Spider-Man's you fought, but he felt strong, bro. Like that was the strongest.
So
that shit was ridiculous, man.
Again, like I hear thoughts and opinions and comments from people of all different types of backgrounds and skill levels and varying levels of experience, right? But it seemed like a lot of people thought Spider-Man was kind of lame, boring, uninteresting, sauceless, all this shit. And like on day one, he was one of the characters. Like, I only played Wolverine throughout the beta. Like I hard stuck to Wolverine because I was like, I'm just not gonna be able to learn multiple characters. There's so many mechanics and everything. I was like, I'm gonna just learn. That was a good decision. Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna learn Wolverine because he's a character that I think is cool, and I'm gonna just play 3 assists, and it's just gonna be like that. So I didn't play any Spider-Man, but I did. He's one of the characters that I did go in training mode. I hit all his buttons, went through his move list, see what everything felt like, etc., etc. I was like, I don't know. The character seems pretty cool to me. Like, I don't know what people aren't liking about him.
Feels like Spider-Man, dude.
Yeah, he feels like Spider-Man. I was like, I don't know. He seems pretty cool. Like, he's a character that I definitely want to explore. Then I started fighting the character. I was like,
shit is outrageous.
He kind of got some shit. And then I was watching Shiny play him in TNS. I'm like, I don't know. That character looks fucked up to me. I don't know what everyone's talking about.
He is so strong. It's ridiculous.
Bro, when he hit me with the heavy into the overhead the first 3 times, I was like, bro, what the fuck was that?
And then you block that shit, and he goes low.
And then he went low. I was like, okay, bro.
And that low leads into a high-low 50-50. I'm like, yo, he got some juice, bro.
Yeah.
Is this what the Sinister Six has been dealing with, bro? This shit is annoying.
The mix on top of the movement that he has, I'm just like, yo, like, I don't know. He seems really cool to me. Like, I really want to play him when the game comes out.
I don't think I looked at a character and thought they were lame in the sense that like you are like either you don't make sense or you're sauceless. I thought every character felt pretty. I didn't play every character, but even fighting against them, I'm just like either this feels extremely lore accurate and that makes me happy, or you just look cool. Like the lamest character, if I had to pinpoint, is probably Star-Lord.
he was
And that's
pretty
only
low in the
because
character usage for this weekend.
yeah, and the only reason I say that is because he has a mechanic that I'm usually fond of, where characters can kind of change their loadout and have different properties. For him, it's his gun, but it looked a little limited on the stuff he can do, and that is the only reason. It could be because I'm comparing him to characters like Black Dahlia, who are kind of similar functioned a little bit, but to me much more fleshed out. But he's literally the only one. Like every other character, I'm just like, maybe I think you're lame playstyle wise. Like I don't think I'm ever going to turn on the game and pick Miss Marvel. Like I'm good, but
yeah, you can miss me ever
like,
picking Penny or Miss Marvel. I'm sorry.
You know, I was actually excited to play Penny. She was one of the first characters I wanted to play, and then they was just like, and then they were like, "Hey, her gadgets are random." I'm like, "Nah, I'm good. I'm not playing Faust."
I'll never play an item throw character personally. That's just me. Yeah, but literally, I saw her and I was like, so she's like Faust and Bedman in one. Yeah, that sounds awful. I'm cool off that.
You might hate me, but Bedman is like actually made me consider turning Guilty Gear on for like 2 seconds. I'm like, I'm not playing this game. You don't think it's hype when he throws you and puts you on the bed?
There's
like,
nothing hype about Bedman, man.
Right. I'm sorry. It's a whole ass. Okay, whatever. But yeah, no, it's that was the only 2 characters. Magneto, to get a little bit more explanation, and this is for anyone interested in playing these 2 characters or just interested in just hearing about them a little bit. Black Panther felt like a pretty insane rushdown character. Like it felt like what they wanted you to do is I'm not gonna say it takes her time to get in, but she clearly has to pick her spots to go in, and they definitely gave her the tools. Like her standing heavy, her 5H is the equivalent of like Yasuo's Hasuki from like 2XKO. It's essentially like a damn near half screen normal. She just spears you, and she can cancel any of her moves into a kind of like a uni assault almost. It's like a near full screen like jumping, and it's pretty fast. So like the idea that they wanted you to do with her is be very mobile, have very strong ground spacing, and really just dance around the screen. And once you get in, she just mauls you. Like it felt very Kefla coded that once she got in, she stayed, and it's very hard to get that character off you. And her solo pressure too, which I think is going to be very important the better we get at the game. They gave her access to some mix-ups. She has like a cool Rekka where one can go low, one can go overhead, and it was hitting people in the beta as a lot of things because I think it's just too new,
right?
You know, but she can only go low, and the only way she can go overhead is by EXing it. So in theory, once you get better at the game, you could just see it.
Yeah, you could just react to the EX flash. But obviously you start adding in layers and then, mental stack and staggers and delay timings and things like that. So
yeah, just to give an example of, I believe what the devs wanted you to do is she can do because it's a 2-hit, she like slams her spear down then goes low, or slams her spear down then goes overhead. But she can cancel the first hit into something else. So she can do the low one, and you see her slam her spear down, and you block low, and then she can cancel into her unique dash and hit you with overhead. And she can start layering it like that. Like do the overhead one, and before she does the overhead, cancel into like the air unique down dash and go low. And it seemed like a lot of these characters in the game, they didn't want them to have hard 50-50s except for Spider-Man. Don't know why. They seemed like
he's Spider-Man, bro. He's the face. He's the one.
I miss doing that, by the way. I can't wait to just I can't wait to
he's perfect. That's Gogeta, bro. He's gotta have it.
Like when somebody would say, like, why is Cells 214H Invo? I'm like, that's the perfect life form. Like, I don't know what you want from him. I can't wait to do that again. But it seemed like a lot of these characters didn't have hard 50-50s, at least by themselves. They didn't want you to just mix somebody insanely without help. Unless your character was specifically designed to do that, like Goblin, for example. But they did give the Dragon Ball, just like, we are going to give you enough tools to try to mental stack somebody and kind of have them be like, oh, that was too much, and you get hit. Which I think I personally am a fan of that. I like that over hard 50-50s. Now Magneto was very, very, very Magneto coded is the best way to describe it. Clearly he's a zoner, but the vibe I got from him is they wanted him to be a zoner that specialized in converting off his zoning, which is a pretty unique style of zoning because sometimes zoners kind of just want to pelt you from full screen and annoy you. But no, he was threatening to combo you by like having like magnetize on you and stuff. He can like pull you in. His assists are really, really good. Not much to say about him outside of that because we all kind of seen gameplay of him. He was quite popular, but he also felt really, really good to play as well. And I actually think those 2 characters are really good together if anybody wanted to play them.
Interesting. Yeah, I played Wolverine, like I said. He has something similar where it's like he has his Rekka, and then his Rekka has like all these different follows, right? So he has a low, he has an overhead, and like I was, clapping up everybody with the overhead, but like it's 28 frames, and it's like everyone was getting hit by it, but it's like
It's
2 weeks.
new.
Yeah, 2 weeks into the game, I don't think anybody gonna be hit by it anymore because he's got the low, which is like I believe it jails and it's like 17 frames, whatever.
So one thing that's really interesting about these games I'm starting to notice is the tier list drastically changes based off how early the game is.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
if we know everything there is to know, is Wolverine as strong as he feels? He actually probably is, by the way, because he actually has true high-low mix, but that's besides the point. However, like in the beta, he generally felt like a top 3 character because he's just like, dude, I can't block this overhead. So it's just like,
as somebody who was playing him, I was kind of like, and again, nowhere near your level, but like for one, no one was playing him, so I'm just like, okay, well, he can't be that nice because no one wants to pick him. And then I was also like, damn, bro, his neutral. I get it, it's a tag game, so we got assists and everything, but like. But anytime I didn't have assists, I'm just like, bro, how do I get in, bro? And all I was doing was just jumping around, just flailing with JH because double hitting claws, and I'm just like that. Anytime you give me a double hitting normal, I'm just always like, oh, that's great. You know what I'm saying?
that's great eats.
But like his lights were terrible. The amount of times I think I'm in range and I whiff 5L or 2L and die for it. Like I said, I mentioned earlier, like playing against Magic and whiffing 5L and then dying to 2M, or just in general just getting hit by 2M from what felt like the other side of the screen. It's like, yo, you're so privileged, you're so blessed. And then her damage output,
ginormous.
bro, I ain't gonna hold you. Magic felt to me like the best character in the game, and I I'm only
personally think long term she is actually,
bro. Like just first impressions, beta opinions, but I'm just like, yo, this character seems so blessed.
Yeah, she feels like the Arxis always has a golden child of a game where they just clearly give them more juice than others, and I felt like overall Magic actually was that character.
They might make her the poster child, and like her, I mean, she's clearly become very quickly like the fan favorite. I feel like she's like everyone's like #1 character for one reason or another. Some of those reasons may or may not be gameplay related. Just know there was a lot of Magic tweets on my timeline. There was a lot of tweets about Magic on my timeline, and most of them weren't gameplay. Let's just say that.
I will say the devs know because, to my knowledge, they uniquely gave her jiggle physics, which the only character I've seen have that. And I'm like,
I know you saw the 5LL tweet, bro.
Yes, I'm just like, that's interesting because this character's broken as shit, and you have that. I'm noticing.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So for everyone who's had to experience Ari in 2XKL, just know that you might have found Tokon's Ari. I just want y'all to know that.
For lack of a better term, I heard somebody calling her John Tokon.
John Tokon is hilarious.
It's just, yeah, you're clearly chosen. But yeah, no, that's kind of what I meant by characters feel pretty accurate because like Wolverine's pretty short, dude. Like even in lore,
it 100% makes sense. Like he is a stubby, like short little dude. It's like him having like normals that aren't that great and being bad at neutral. That makes sense. It's just I was playing, I was like, damn, his neutral's kind of whack. And then I was like, okay, like this overhead cool for now. It won't be 2 weeks after the game drop, and now I'm gonna have to figure out how to actually mix with him, which that's a whole nother story. But like, yeah, I was like, this character is beta strong for sure, but will he be actually strong? I don't know.
It's interesting that you brought up like, oh, I'm hitting lights and I'm getting whiff punished by Magic. That's actually an issue that I didn't realize that the game actually had, issue, quote unquote, until I actually watched something Lord Knight said. I heard him talk about, and one of his gripes with the game is that it feels like some of the rules they have in the game are Strive coded, but in the wrong spots. For example, and I could be wrong because I don't play Strive, but I think like your light kick or whatever the kick button in that game is, like the fast kick button, has higher recovery than standard jabs, around 25-ish, 24-ish frames. For reference, jabs can be anywhere from like 5 to 3 frames total duration, which is like third strike chunk cheating, like literally cheating. Or like the average is like around 20-ish frames, like 19 frames. Like for Dragon Ball, it was around 19 frames for whiffing a light. Same thing for 2XKO, which is like borderline reactable if you're really good, but like, but Tokon actually is like the Strive where it's 24, 25 frames when you whiff a light.
Yeah.
So because of that, it feels like you're getting hit for just pressing light in scenarios that you normally are just not used to in games. It doesn't feel that like you'll get hit when you press a line just damn that long.
That's something that I experienced a lot, and I didn't have the numbers for it. It's funny you bring it up because LK did come through to my stream at one point when I was talking about that, and then he brought up the same thing you said, like comparing it to Guilty Gear, and I was like, bro, like there have been so many times where like I whiff a light, and like I get it, I whiff, but bro, it's a light. Like
I'm not supposed to just die.
Yeah, like not only am I Wolverine who feels like I have stubby buttons, so I'm just like, damn, but it's like not only am I whiffing them stubby normals, but also it's like that shit has way more recovery than I'm expecting. And again, I guess just because like the thing my brain is comparing it to the most,
especially coming from Dragon Ball.
Yeah, it's Dragon Ball, where it's like 5-6 frames faster on recovery, like on whiff. And it's like you get to this and it's like whiffing a light in this game is like whiffing a medium in Guilty Gear, where it's like 24, 25 frames.
In this game feels like whiffing like UI's light.
Yeah, I'm like, damn, bro, I'm straight up getting whiff punished for real for whiffing this 5L. Like, damn, I'm dying for that.
That's because some characters got some big ass buttons.
All right, and now I got to sit here and know that magic player thinks that they footsies is nice. Meanwhile, you're privileged whole time.
Magic players aren't getting away. I saw every Twitter account and their moms posting magic tech. The random Japanese Twitter accounts posting like TODs. Y'all aren't nice, bro. Y'all just I'm noticing. Y'all aren't nice.
All right, well. I think I gotta just go ahead and ask the question, which is probably the title of today's video. Let me know what you think about this. Is Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls the next Dragon Ball FighterZ?
Man, that is the thing we all...
Parentheses positive.
Parentheses positive, yeah, because
non-derogatory.
That's sad that we have to, let's not open that can of worms. But
we don't got to walk down that road. Let's remember the good times. Remember the good times.
Yeah. So that's the question we all are asking. I'm asking that myself. Mm-hmm. The answer that I can give right now is, I hope so.
I hope so.
All jokes aside, though, I think it has the highest potential out of any game we've seen thus far, for a few reasons. One, it's literally made by the same company that made Dragon Ball. Mm-hmm. So, they did it once, they can do it again. Second thing is the IP. I'm not going to say it's quite as big as Dragon Ball, especially over here, like in the States and whatnot, because Dragon Ball is pretty fucking huge over here. Like Marvel's huge too, but I think Dragon Ball might edge it out just a little bit. But even if regardless of the point of who edges what out in terms of popularity, it's very, very, very big IP. Like we've all seen how successful Marvel Rivals was. And a lot of Marvel projects, for the most part, is giga successful. Like the MCU is fucking huge.
Bro, that Spider-Man movie that drops this week is projected to make like $800 million for the opening weekend. Like you said almost $1 billion for opening week? Like son.
For a solo movie, mind you, in the sense that that's not even like a everyone's here movie. It's no
so Spider-Man is broken in top tier. You wondering why? That's why.
Okay,
that's Spider-Man, bro.
We're noticing, bro. We're noticers. Y'all aren't slick. Y'all aren't slick. Especially since I don't know if you guys. So it's not on topic, but Arcus is actually working closely with the people at Marvel to make sure characters feel accurate. Like there's a video they released a few days ago before the actual beta release where they kind of went over their development process. They even mentioned how like Iron Man they couldn't quite get right until some people at Marvel was like, hey, look at these comics to kind of give you more insight on like what you can actually do with the character. Case in point is they're working closely with Marvel. Spider-Man movie coming out, Spider-Man's the strongest. Like, bro, y'all aren't slick. Y'all aren't slick. But
we're on to you.
But yeah, it's made by the same company. The IP is fucking huge. Generally, like even among casuals, the game already looks pretty popular. Kind of YouTuber pilled for a second, but content creation, like the numbers look pretty high. Like on Twitch, it looked really high.
Yeah, for sure.
I forget we seen the Steam chart numbers. I don't know if the Steam chart numbers or just numbers in general, but it was quite a bit of people playing that beta.
I want to say the Steam chart showed that there were like over 30,000 players on PC, which is pretty shocking to hear considering all the issues PC was having. So how much more could it have been without those issues? So I think it'll only increase, because if you look back at like some of the streams and content, the analytics for like the first or second beta, like the game has gained so much motion since then, because like just anecdotally, like I've seen my numbers are much better now compared to that first beta, and I think it'll.
Oh yeah, the first beta looked really weak when it comes to numbers compared to now.
I think it'll increase even more with this official drop, especially after because the game about to drop like a week after the Spider-Man movie. Niggas will be like, "Hope I want to go play Spider-Man in Tokon." You know what I'm saying? So
he's gonna be stronger. Watch, we're gonna play him.
They gonna buff him.
So I say that to say I do think out of any game, this by far has the most potential. I think the only game, but by the way, when we talked about the numbers, I was going to say I think the only game that actually Tokon's numbers for a beta was Street Fighter 6,
Hmm.
which is a good sign because Street Fighter 6 is a very, very hard game to beat in anything fighting game like community related. Like you're not really fucking with Street Fighter. Street Fighter.
Right.
Like with the rare exception of Mortal Kombat when it locks in, um but so Tokon being comparable to it or like getting very close to it is a very, very good sign, especially like with you said the issues the game was having. Um, and again, I can't stress it's Marvel. Like Marvel's been doing a really good job, like pushing itself, like just in all the like mediums, like the movies, the games. Like Rivals is fucking huge. So I think it definitely could be the next Dragon Ball. I really hope it is too, because as somebody we've talked about it before who kind of missed the golden age of Dragon Ball, the high-end era, if you will. I'm really I hope that is the case.
Bro,
What do you think about it though? Do you think it's going to do it, or
I want to start off by saying, like, I really do hate, because for those of you who don't know, Inzem became one of the best players in Dragon Ball Fighters, and arguably even the best player at one point, but he didn't really like come to the scene and like really start getting hip until season 3 for real. So like the first 2 years he wasn't there for all the hype and excitement and the lore and the history, and you know what I'm saying, like when the game like launched like that. So I would love for him to be part of it and experience it and be there from the get-go with a game like Tokon that could potentially rival or be comparable to Dragon Ball Fighters in its initial release. As far as do I think Tokon is going to be the next Dragon Ball Fighters, I would say that I agree with you that this is the closest any game is going to come or has come since then, and probably will for the foreseeable future. Like you said, it's also made by ArcSys. It's got a huge IP behind it. People are very excited. There's things that are relevant to the IP and these characters actively going on right now that are successful and exciting. Like we said, with the Spider-Man movie, the Wolverine game that's coming out. There are multiple.
I forgot about that.
You know what I'm saying? There are multiple other things going on outside of the game that are also probably going to influence the popularity of the game. And on top of that, like, people are excited. People are playing it. People are having fun. The numbers look good. All signs are pointing in the right direction. And then, like I said, even with some of the things that we didn't like so much about the game, like they improved it so much from build to build up to this point, and I think that it will continue to improve throughout the game's lifespan. And they've already mentioned before about wanting to support the game for like 10 years. You know,
I heard that. That is huge. Like, bro, Strive has been out for such. Sorry to cut you off, but
no, you good.
Strive has been out for a very long time. It feels like it's been out forever. Like I've seen Strive for so long, and that game is on year 6. I want to say.
Yeah.
You mean to tell me we're basically going to have double that? That's going to be the longest ArcSys has ever supported a game, like by far. Like you combine that with the fact, like they're doing multiple things they said they haven't done before, like 10-year support.
Mm-hmm.
I can't speak on how receptive they've been to feedback, but I'd imagine this is some of the most receptive they've been to feedback, at least when it comes to like the release. It could be a little headcanon, but you know, that's just me going out on a limb. But even down to them mentioning that they're going to have a lot of skins in the game cosmetics, like that's something that as Dragon Ball players, we've asked
we were
forever
begging for that in Fighters, and they wouldn't give it to us. But in this game, they've
makes me
already
believe that
and the skins that they've shown us so far look sick, bro. The Captain America classic costume with the shader, oh my god, with the comic book shader, that shit looks so good.
By the way, that's definitely color 59 from Dragon Ball.
But I ain't gonna lie, but it's better at this than it was at Dragon Ball.
Yeah, they got better at making art. You can definitely tell. They got better at like just animations in general. I feel like the supers I feel a little more snappier, like more fluid than even Dragon Ball animations, which we've talked about. I've always like praised Dragon Ball so much for its art. I still think that game is like top 3 best looking fighting games still.
I agree. It's
like that for me. It's that Street Fighter and now Tokon actually.
I still put DBFZ over Street Fighter, and I think this is the first game where I'm putting it over DBFZ. I ain't gonna lie,
which is insane. Like I am inclined to agree. That is absurd. I'm like DBFZ stands the test of time so well. So there's a lot of things to look forward to. But yeah, that 10-year support is crazy. Like I'm sorry, I like jumped at it, but I was just like, you're
but I think the excitement that you showed at that, and that like we've been showing in general, and the passion, and just how hype everyone is, I think it's all a good sign, man. I am very excited for the future of this game, for it to release, to get my hands on and sink my teeth into it. And I haven't been this excited for a game in quite some time, because like it's one of those things where like I was like kind of like a little bit apprehensive, because like I said, I didn't really like that first beta, and like I heard about all the changes and how much better the game was, but I hadn't got the chance to play it for myself. And now that I've played it, I'm like, hey man, August 6th can't come quickly enough. Oh, here scratching my neck like, y'all got any more of them fighting souls? I can, you know what I'm saying? I like real talk. I dead ass like open up the beta because I ain't deleted from my PlayStation. I opened it up yesterday. Like, what if just maybe this bitch let me in real quick?
God. You know, I did that shit too, bro. Nah, because and I a little on topic, but when 2X had its beta, I just like didn't turn my PC off and I went to sleep after it stopped, and I woke up in training room was still on. So I
remember that
troll and like I streamed.
Yeah, you streamed it.
People are just like, "What the fuck? How are you still playing, bro?" You know, after the beta ended for Tokon, bro, I was in training room for like 10 extra minutes. I'm like, "Please, God, let this be the same thing," because I'm never turning my PC off.
Right.
I promise you, I'm not. And no, they packed me up like shortly after.
Hey, it was wishful thinking though. It was wishful thinking.
It's funny because I think I did something that they alerted the servers because I was chilling, and then like the second I like opened up main menu, they just packed me up. I'm like, damn.
That's rough. That's rough. But yeah, no, I think Tokon's got a bright future, and I'm very excited for the game to release and for us to play it more. And I'm looking forward to the competition, the content, just learning, improving, getting better at the game myself. And I can't wait to see you competing in the game as well, because I already know you're gonna be out there. Top 8 is, you know, are you going to are you going to CEO?
I'm going to CEO, but be warned, Inzem like week 2 and 3 of a game is low key some mid. Now Inzem like month 2, that guy's a problem.
Hey, well,
month 1,
I know you're gonna be up there eventually. You know what I'm saying? I'm very well aware of your fighting game acumen and the level of which you're capable of getting to. So I expect to see you top 8 of some of the majors. It ain't got to be CEO, but I know I'm going to see you up there eventually, especially if we end up loving the game as I think we both expect to. So
I, for one, am actually, this is actually a side point that I forgot to mention, but I'm actually really excited to play a game where it feels like most of my friends are playing again. I really felt like it's been a while since Dragon Ball.
Hey, man, me too, because I haven't had that either since Dragon Ball. So
I can hear the excitement in your voice. You said that, like, it's definitely nice.
That's a big incentive. That's a big incentive.
Yeah, it really is.
But I think that's going to pretty much do it today. We touched on a lot. Honestly, I still feel like we could probably go for like another hour because there's still so much to talk about. And again, the game's not even out yet, but I'm gonna definitely make sure I have you on the channel again and tap back in with you, because there's so many things that we could talk about when it comes to this game. And also, you could probably put me on some good Marvel stuff to check out when it comes to comics and things like that as well. Because like you said, you're a big Marvel head.
I can give you some fire.
Yeah, I see you jumped it down. You took the, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, so I appreciate you for joining me here today. And any final remarks you want to say to the people? Let them know where they can find you.
You can catch me on Twitter at Inzem2. I am also posting regular, or going to try to post regular content for Tokon on my YouTube, which is Inzem, or my Twitch. I'll be streaming sometimes just Inzem with 2 M's. If you want to check me out, I'm more so high level pilled. You'll probably see me like in the lab, but I'm usually pretty receptive to answering questions, especially if the idea is you want to improve or increase your knowledge. That's kind of always been my role in the community, the professor of the game of sorts. So if you like that stuff, you can check me out. And yeah, like, I'm really excited for this game, and I hope it's going to be one for the books. I really hope it's the next DBFZ.
Me too, man.
Very fun.
Me too. Let me know you guys' thoughts in the comment sections down below. Hit this video with a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already so you can stay tuned for all the awesome content I'm bringing you. And with all that being said, that's pretty much all for today. Remember, nothing could happen to you swing the bat. Later.